I didn't know what my future would hold. I didn't know if I was going to be infertile. I didn't know what was going to happen. What's the crack, you feckin' lulas? And welcome back to my channel. So today I want to talk about chlamydia. I want to talk about the signs and symptoms, how you contract it, and how you can get it treated, and also about my experience with it. So first of all, what is chlamydia? Chlamydia is a sexually transmitted infection. It is caused by the bacterium Chlamydia trachomatis. I think that's how you pronounce it. I don't know. I had to practice it a few times, but trachomatis, Chlamydia trachomatis. And it can be transmitted in a number of ways through sexual activity. And it's not just through penetrative sex, like vaginal sex or anal sex. It is through oral sex and anything that exchanges fluids, like semen or vaginal fluid. So for example, you can get chlamydia from sharing a sex toy with someone if it hasn't been cleaned properly and someone who's infected by it has used it and there is remnants of fluid on the sex toy. You can even contract it if your genitals are touching. So you may not be having actual penetrative sex, you may not even orgasm, you may not even ejaculate, but you can still contract it if the genitals are touching. And you can also get it from unprotected anal, oral, or vaginal sex. And also, in my research, another way you can contract it is if infected fluid gets into your eye, you can get chlamydia through that. So that is why it's always so important to protect yourself as much as you can by getting checked regularly and always wearing a condom. That is the only form of contraception that will prevent you from getting the STI. So even if you're on the pill, on the coil, on the injection, on any other contraceptive form, the condom is the only barrier one that can prevent you from getting an STI. And of course, always get checked as regularly as you can, especially if you're sexually active with multiple partners. You should definitely always make sure you're getting checked. So what are the symptoms of chlamydia? This one is kind of a funny one because a lot of people, most people, don't get any symptoms at all, which is scary. And that is why it is so important to get checked regularly so that GPs or doctors can catch it, because you may not even know that you have it for years. But there are symptoms, and some people do get the symptoms. The first symptom to look out for is pain when you pee. Yep, this when the urine flows through. If it's sore, get that checked out just straight away. It can be a number of things. It doesn't mean you have chlamydia if you have pain when you pee, but it's always not a good sign. It should not ever hurt. So please do go to the GP straight away if you have any pain when you pee. So another symptom is unusual discharge from your penis, your vagina, or from your rectum. So you will know that there are many fluids that come out, especially from a vagina, just constantly. It's just loads of fluids. But that's why it's so important to keep track of your discharge. And if it's clear, it's usually okay. If it has a strong smell, that's not a good sign. So always just keep track of it. And if something looks off for you, because everyone's is different, everyone's vagina is different, everyone's penis is different, everyone will have different discharges in different quantities and all that kind of stuff. All that lovely stuff that just comes out whenever it feels like it. But if it looks different to you, if it looks unusual to you, go get it checked out. Even if it's nothing, at least it'll put your mind at rest. If there's anything unusual with your discharge, please do get it checked out. Depending on what genitals you have, you can get different symptoms as well. So for women, people with vaginas, you can get pain in your stomach, bleeding after sex, or in between periods. So if you're noticing that happening, you should definitely get it checked out. Again, it could be nothing. There's loads of reasons why you can get pain in your stomach or bleeding in between periods or after sex. It's happened to me a couple of times and it's ended up being nothing. But just get it checked out, just for peace of mind. Get it checked out. For men or with those with penises, the symptoms are pain and swelling of the testicles. So straight away, you should always get that checked out because it can be 1,000,001 things, but it's always best to just get these checked out if you're worried about having an STI or any other infection. So if chlamydia is left untreated, it can result in a whole range of problems for your body. It can spread to other parts of your body and it can lead to pelvic inflammatory disease, inflammation of the testicles, and infertility. So you may not have any symptoms, but if it's left untreated for years and years, it can lead to so many other problems. That's why it is so important to get checked. Get it checked as regularly as you can to protect yourself from something so much worse down the line. Getting tested is actually easier than you think. You might think it's very daunting going into this sexual health clinic, maybe feel a bit embarrassed, but there's nothing to be embarrassed about. It's the right thing to be doing to look after yourself and getting checked and make sure that you're not spreading anything that you don't even know that you have. It's so quick and easy. You can do it by giving some urine, just peeing in a cup and giving it to the doctors and say, see you later, I'll talk to you soon. Or you can get a swab test, which is a little invasive. Obviously, they put a little cotton bud up there and do a little swirl around and then they take it out. It takes literally 2 seconds. It's a bit weird, but it's not sore, it's not scary, it's just a little swab and then you're done. You can do that at your GPs, you can get a nurse to do it, you can go to a sexual health clinic. There's so many ways you can get tested, and you can even do it yourself. There are home kits you can get. You can order them online and bring them to your house so you don't actually have to go in somewhere if you're worried about that. Treating chlamydia is really easy as well. It is basically a course of antibiotics. One could be just 1 tablet. You just take 1 tablet and then a week later you get tested again to make sure that the infection is gone. Within that week, you cannot have sex. You have to wait until the antibiotics have done its magic and then you can have sex again once you know you were clear of chlamydia. The other course of antibiotics is a week long. You take 1 every day or a few every day until the course of antibiotics is run out. And then you get checked again and make sure that it's all gone. And then you can have sex after the antibiotics course is done. That is key because you can still spread chlamydia even if you're getting treated for it. If it's not all the way gone, you can still spread it to someone else. So you cannot have sex while you're being treated for chlamydia. There's such a taboo around STIs. Obviously, it's not something you want to get and spread around. Obviously, they're not good things to have. But because of this taboo, people feel it's difficult to talk about and even tell a partner that they've had it. If people discover they've caught an STI, they find it so difficult and so daunting and so horrible going through all their past partners to inform them to get checked. But that is so important. You need to be able to tell someone if you've contracted it or if that they were at risk. That is so, so important. So that leads me on to my experience with chlamydia. About 8 years ago, I would say, I contracted chlamydia. I was 20 years old. I was single. I enjoyed the sex. So at this stage of my life, there was a boy that I really, really liked and we got on very well. And yeah, we had sex. We had sex on 2 separate occasions, very far apart from each other. Once when we were very drunk, very, very drunk, and no condom was worn. But we were drunk, we were in the moment, things just happened and we didn't really think about it. We kind of just went for it. Very stupid, very irresponsible. I know, I can admit this. But the second time we had sex, we wore a condom and we protected ourselves and it was all good. But a while later, I get a text from him. There was something about that text that I could tell he was nervous. I could tell that it wasn't just like, oh, hey, I just want to tell you something. I could tell that he really struggled writing this message. Basically, the text said that he had contracted chlamydia and told me that I should go to the doctors and get checked out as soon as possible. At this stage, I didn't really know. I mean, I knew what chlamydia was. Like, I knew it was a sexually transmitted infection, but I didn't know what it was. You know what I mean? I've heard of it. I knew it was not good, but I didn't know the signs, the symptoms. I didn't know anything. And I also didn't have any of the signs and symptoms. I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel any different. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary. Everything was absolutely fine. When I looked up what can happen if it's left untreated, I found out about the infertility thing, that it can make you infertile. And that made me panic so much. The one thing I want in life, I've always wanted in life, was marriage and kids. And if I couldn't have my own kids, obviously I could adopt and there's all these other options. But to me, that fear took over of not being able to have my own kids, being infertile. I think I went white, like sheet white, and think, oh my God, this could ruin my life. But one thing I did not do was get angry at this person. This person was single as well, and he enjoyed having sex with a lot of people. I knew this about him before we got into any sort of sexual relationship. I knew that. I still liked him. It didn't bother me. Whatever he wanted to do, that was absolutely fine. We were not exclusive. I was not mad at this person for contracting this infection. These things unfortunately happen. I was stupid enough not to tell him to wear a condom that first time we had sex. It's shit. It's unfortunate, but there was no point in getting angry with this person. I knew how upset he was and how embarrassed he felt and how horrible it made him feel. So I asked him, oh my God, are you okay? I'll get checked out as soon as possible. Thanks for letting me know, but are you okay? He then told me that he had to tell 6 other people, or 6 people in total, about this. And I was the only one who was asking him how he was okay and not getting angry. I didn't see the point in getting angry. What was done was done. It's not his fault. It's not like he did this intentionally. It's just an unfortunate thing that happened. And he was probably not feeling too great about himself. So I wanted to make sure that he was okay. So I got checked out, went to the doctor. I was thinking in my head, I'm not going to have it. I only slept with him twice. One was ages ago. One was kind of recently. I don't have any symptoms. It'll be fine. I'll just get checked out just in case. Then the test results come back. Hello, Sarah. Yes, you have chlamydia. Yeah, we're going to want to treat you for that. Okay, goodbye. Ugh. Yeah, I got it. I got chlamydia and I was very annoyed and scared and angry. I didn't know what my future would hold. I didn't know if I was going to be infertile. I didn't know what was going to happen. And I felt very embarrassed and ashamed of myself that I had contracted this. I've started seeing someone new. Luckily, we weren't sexually active anyway, so I didn't need to tell him anything. We just started dating. It was just literally kissing and holding hands. That's what we had done so far. So I didn't need to tell him because there was no way we were going to have sex until obviously I was clear of chlamydia. I had to tell one person about it because we had engaged in some oral sex and that is a way you can contract it as well. I had to tell him to get checked out. He did and he was absolutely clear, so that was fine. I felt relieved, but it was hard to tell him. I felt so ashamed. I felt dirty. I felt like a slut. He did kind of get a little bit angry with me and it was not a nice feeling. But then I went to the doctor. They gave me one pill. I took that and then I had to go back a week later and get tested. And they told me that I was all clear. I no longer had chlamydia. I felt such a relief. I was like, thank goodness that I got rid of it and I will learn my lesson now. I will never, ever be so stupid and reckless. And I've stuck to that because I have never, ever had sex without a condom. I've never been so drunk that I was like, feck the condom. I had always made sure that my partner always wore a condom. I never, ever slipped up ever again because I never wanted to get any sort of infection again. I didn't want to infect others. I just couldn't. I value my life too much. I value my future kids' life too much. I thought, no, I cannot let this happen again. So my experience with chlamydia made me more aware of sexually transmitted infections because you hear that all the time. You hear about STIs all the time. If you have sex, you are at risk of getting them and you have all this information thrown at you. But you always think, that won't happen to me. That's never gonna happen. But it can happen so easily, even if you trust your partner so much. Even if they swear they've never had any STIs, or they can say they just got checked and everything's all clear, or they've never had sex before, so there's no way they can have an STI. And as much as you want to believe them, people can lie. It's heartbreaking, but it's the truth. So you should always protect yourself and get checked as regularly as possible. STIs are so common, and if you do happen to get one, don't panic. Things can be dealt with. Medicine is so good these days. Most of them can be treated, so don't worry too much. But don't be afraid to tell past partners about it because they need to know, they need to get checked out and they need to be informed. So please don't feel ashamed about that because they would rather know than you not telling them and then them having worse problems down the line. I'm so grateful for that guy for messaging me as soon as he found out to let me know that he had chlamydia and I should get checked out because it could have led to so many worse problems in my life. It would have changed everything and I'm so grateful that he got in contact with me. Please let me know in the comments section what your experience with STI education is because I didn't get a lot of STI education in school. It was basically like one class maybe, and it was just like, you will die if you get an STI, you don't have sex ever, wait until your marriage, all that kind of crap. And you just don't listen to that kind of stuff if people are telling you wait until marriage and don't have sex because it's against God. It just goes out of my head and I don't listen, and it's like being lectured by like your parents or something. You don't want to listen when you're that age. But I feel like we need to talk about these things. We need to know, we need to be more aware, but I don't want me to be like lecturing you. I don't want it to feel like I'm saying don't have sex. You know, I want it to be like an open conversation. Please give this video a wee thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and please subscribe to my channel. I make videos every week. Okay, I love you. Bye.